I want to welcome you to this regular meeting of the Daly City Council this Monday, January 23rd. Just for the audience participation, to watch the live telecast, you could watch us on youtube.com at Daly City Video Meetings or at dalycity.org/agendas. As far as public comment, we have returned to in-person public meetings. The city has expanded accessibility to provide public comment remotely. A new feature has been added to the city's website to allow for the submission of public comment. Please visit www.dalycity.org/agendas to submit your comments. Additionally, public comments may still be submitted by email to cityclerk@dalycity.org. So before we start our meeting tonight, I think it's important that we need to acknowledge that there has been another mass shooting today. I believe it's around 5 o'clock today. 7 people were killed throughout our county in Half Moon Bay and in other cities. This is coming really close to our backyard. And we just had the shootings in Monterey. And if there is, I, along with many other people, really believe there's something that we must do. What that is, I think it's up to the council to discuss, deliberate, and decide if there's something we can do to stop these shootings. So I wanted to recognize what happened, let the public know that we are all very concerned, and that if there is something within our power to do something, to influence decision makers, to actually do something in our books, we're going to do it, because enough is enough. At this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. If you all could please rise and say a pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I found this on the web from Public One Nation.
Okay, Madam Clerk, can we have a roll call, please?
Ms. DiGiovanni.
Present.
Dr. Rod.
Present.
Ms. Manalo.
Present.
Mr. Sylvester.
Glenn Sylvester, present.
Mr. Buenaventura.
Present. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Objection, hearing none, the agenda is approved. Moving on to item number 1 under resolutions, which is the appointment and employment of Thomas J. Piccolotti as the city manager of the city of Daly City. Ms. Zimmerman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. Good evening. Tonight before you this evening is the consideration of the appointment and approval of the employment agreement with the interim city manager, Thomas J. Piccolotti, to serve as the city manager for the city of Daly City. As you all well aware, by way of background, the City Council had been notified of the intended retirement of the former city manager on June 3rd, 2022. The City Council did conduct an extensive search for candidates and was unable to find a viable candidate to serve as their city manager. As such, and after careful consideration, the City Council did appoint the Director of Water and Wastewater Resources, Mr. Piccolotti, to serve as the interim city manager, which he serves in that capacity since August of 2022. Mr. Piccolotti has served over 32 years of local government experience, with 22 of those years with the City of Daly City as a Director of Water and Wastewater Resources. In January of this year, Mr. Piccolotti was identified by the City Council as the primary candidate for the city manager position. After consideration by the council, an offer was made and accepted by Mr. Piccolotti. The employment agreement as a draft with its relative terms are attached to this report. Thus, at this time, the staff does recommend that the City Council appoint Mr. Piccolotti to serve as the city manager of the City of Daly City and adopt a resolution approving the employment agreement as referenced in this report. Staff is available to answer any questions of the mayor and the City Council at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Zimmerman. I'd like to invite my counsel if they have any questions or comments before we decide this issue. Go ahead, Madam Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think it's important, and it's shown that Director Piccoletti, who is now going to be our city or interim city manager, the dedication he's shown for over 3 decades, that is to be commended. But when we needed an interim city manager, he jumped right on in and really showed his tenacity, and is now, I'm really thrilled to hear that he's willing to accept the challenge as well as the opportunity. You've always been a part of the family of Daly City, but now you're gonna be taking on a leadership role, and I'm excited to see you in that place. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, any other comments? Mr. Sylvester, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If you listen to the comments made by our city attorney, and some of the words, one sentence she said, the council did appoint Mr. Piccoletti as the interim city manager. Well, as I have to echo some of the comments that the vice mayor had provided, and what stuck out in my mind when we made that appointment months ago was that he was the one who stepped up to the plate and said, I'm a team player, I will do what you need me to do. And keeping that in mind, he was willing to go back no matter what happens, because he knew that we were going to have an application process. And he said, no problem, I'll do whatever you need me to do. So the city attorney made a call. Well, let me check with him first. And sure enough, he was available. In the brief time that I've known Mr. Piccoletti, I've found and learned about his past experiences and what he had to go through throughout the years, not only here in Daly City, but in another city, one of San Mateo County cities. I want to relay a incident that I had with Mr. Piccoletti, and that was about a month and a half ago. I had a business owner who was concerned about the illegal dumping of garbage, and that item was left on the street. So I says, let me make a call to the interim city manager. And would you believe it? Before I can leave that business, somebody else came into the shop and says, what happened to the item? It was already picked up and taken care of. So I have complete faith and assurance. I know Mr. Piccoletti may be green in the area of being a city manager, but you know what? He's up to the task. So I'm ready to move forward. And Mr. Piccoletti, I thank you so much for stepping up to the plate, and looking forward to working with you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Sylvester. Dr. Rod.
Yes. There's so many adjectives I could describe Tom. As mayor last year, we had a lot of ebbs and flows. We were turning the corner on COVID-19, and we're still turning the corner on COVID-19. But what I needed was a person that had a sense of security, a sense of dependency, transparency, dependability, and this willingness to work. And those are the 4 qualities that I was looking for when we were fluctuating and transitioning between a changing city manager's office. I was looking for somebody that had experience. I've worked with many people across my whole professional career, and I've had managers and people I've worked with where we had people that just were taskmasters and just did the tasks. But did they have legitimate leadership? And to me, legitimate leadership is when everybody believes in that leader. And what I've seen as mayor last year, and how Tom navigates through City Hall, through water, wastewater, to our events with staff, people believe in him. And that's one of the qualities that I really appreciate about Tom, and congratulations on becoming full-time city manager. And, you know, I'm always here for you, and you know, I know for sure you're here for us. So the reciprocity is there. So thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Dr. Rod. Ms. DeGiovanni.
Thank you. First, let me begin by thanking our interim city manager for stepping up when we went through what we all went through and through the storms and everything else. And what I have to say tonight has no reference on you, Mr. Piccolotti. It's my duty as a city council member and to the people to also answer to them with their questions and to also abide by, according to outside counsel. There's a state law that requires city council to orally report a summary of proposed actions on salaries, salary schedules, or fringe benefits of executive level employees before any approval is done. Agenda item number 1 includes approval of an employee agreement with Mr. Tom Piccolotti for service as city manager. His base salary as compensation for services rendered under this agreement, Mr. Piccolotti shall receive an initial biweekly salary of $14,495 effective January the 23rd, 2023, and a 6% increase of base biweekly salary effective January 23rd, 2024, also with a 4% COLA as for all our executive management. Said salary shall be paid on the dates and in the manner consistent with the payroll procedures in use for City of Daly City employees. Employees' base salary shall be increased by the same percentage, and at the same time, any discretionary across-the-board increase is granted to the city's executive management group. Thereafter, and subject to a performance evaluation, city may increase employees' salary by resolution. Other benefits that include: employees shall be provided the compensation and benefits offered to all other department heads as provided in the executive management salary schedule, effective October the 15th, 2022, and thereafter. That was one of the 4% that we approved for executive management. Such benefits, but are not limited to, vacations, sick leave, holidays, administrative leave, retirement, health insurance, dental insurance, long-term disability, and life insurance. Employees shall not be compensated for any hours worked overtime because employee is exempt from overtime under the Federal Fair Labor Standards practices. Also included in this contract, for transparency, according to the state law, vehicle expenses. Employees' duties require he shall have the use of an automobile at all times during his employment with the city. City shall provide and maintain an appropriate automobile for his full and exclusive use. Professional development, dues, and subscriptions. City agrees to pay for the professional dues, subscriptions, and other costs of employee deemed necessary for his participation in national, state, regional, and local associations and organizations, and in meetings, conferences, and training related thereto, included but not limited to the International City County Management Association, League of California Cities, County City Managers Association, which are considered mutually desirable for his continued professional participation and growth and for the good of our city, subject to the budgetary approval and the city council approval. Also, other supplement benefits include: city shall contribute $500 per month to the employee's deferred compensation plan. Therefore, on giving for the transparency and under state law, there will be tonight, if approved, that he would begin under including the 4% COLA, I believe, and the 6%, beginning the salary annually of $347,880. And beginning in 2024, he would be given a 6% plus another 4%, which is the COLA given to the executive manager as approved by City Council. And in total, if I get the total correct, it would be in 2024, $383,502. I do this for the transparency under the state law and for the use of our public and for the constituents here within. So I would also like to bring up that we as a city have entered into a Cities for CDA resolution a number of years ago. And many of you may know that I was a part of that beginning before I even got on council. And what that is Cities for Convention to end all forms of discrimination of women in all forms. I'm not saying there's a systemic issue here or anything else, but I would like to read the salaries of prior city managers, their beginning and the ending of their pay. And I believe with the beginning of the recent one, with Ms. Shauna Maltby, when she left after 3 years, not her first year, but her ending, of $371,802. And with respective cities being City of San Mateo, $283,863. The Mr. Futrell, who recently left after numerous years with South San Francisco, has just ended and moved to Riverside, and he ended at $307,000. And with Ms. Martell, which many of us had thought at that time was pretty high, was $284,754. This is done in the sake of transparency and in the hopes that I had gotten recent a phone call today saying that we want to make sure that this is not, as the woman said, an institutionalized gender discrimination, as the last person was a woman whose salary began at a lower rate, even if the present person was making a higher salary at that time, who is now beginning with a much higher salary, and it goes down to the cents they're in under the Cities for CDAW with the United Nations. So I just want to bring that to people's attention, and this is not anything personal at all, but it has to be done transparency-wise and for the people of Daly City, because we have people in our community and our workers that are making $50,000, and they are really, I was really hoping that even if Mr. Piccolotti was a part of this, I was hoping that we would have been able to do more outreach. I know our city attorney had said it was prior to the end of 2022 that we did take in some applications, but we had never interviewed, for transparency's sakes, we never interviewed any of those applicants or considered any of them. And then henceforth, then we are, and I have, again, no reference on that. It's about amount of money, and that we have not even been presented our budgetary process yet and be given that we have a budget, whether we are now in a recessionary period and that the national debt. So that is this is all for the transparency under the state law and for the people of Daly City, and no reference to Mr. Piccolotti at all and his professionalism and his willingness to always serve our city with integrity, due diligence, and with everything he does and all his heart. So thank you very much. And so with that, that will be how I reflect. I will not vote no against Mr. Piccolotti because I do have faith in him and I do want to work with him. But being a Cities for CDAW, where we have to make sure that the balance is there for women and men as a gender, and being that we have to be an equitable city, that is where the United Nations has set that preference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. DiGiovanni. So my final comment before we decide this issue is to say that we did do a search. We did try to find the best candidate for this position for Daly City. And Tom essentially has been on a 6-month interview process as working as the interim city manager. And it became clear that he was the top guy, the top person for this job. He has the respect of the people that work here in Daly City. He has the institutional knowledge that's needed to run an effective city and manage it well. He also has demonstrated strong leadership throughout his tenure of just 6 months. None more evident and clear in the last few weeks when we had these struggles with the storms, Tom stepped up and he ran these operations with precision. And there was no glitch. He responded, he organized, he got people the help they needed. To me, that was icing on the cake. He could have just phoned it in. No. He wanted perfection out of the staff and for the community we live in. So for that reason, I am happy to make the motion to appoint and employ Thomas J. Piccolotti as the city manager for the city of Daly City.
Second.
All right? Thank you. At this time, we have a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call, please?
Giovanni?
Mr. Piccolotti, I want to tell you that I am here to support you, but the public has been calling me, and because we do have a CDOG policy, I'm going to not vote no against you because of respect for you and look forward to working with you. But because of the money aspects and not the budgetary process, I is not here. I have to abstain for the public.
Dr. Rod?
An affirmative yes.
Ms. Manalo?
Yes.
Mr. Sylvester?
Glenn Sylvester, aye.
Mr. Buenaventura?
Aye. Congratulations, Tom. Tom, will you step forward to take the oath? Please raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Thomas J. Piccolotti,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of California
the Constitution of the State of California,
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic.
that I will bear true faith
I will bear true faith,
and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and I will bear true faith to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California.
that I take this obligation freely
I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion.
and that I will well and faithfully
I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I will.
Congratulations, Mr. Sylvester. Tom, you want to say a few words?
Yes, sir. I'll be brief. Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor Manalo, Councilmember Dr. Rod, Councilmember Glenn Sylvester, Councilmember Pamela DiGiovanni. Thank you for the confidence. And the trust you are putting in me and my abilities to carry out the duties of this position. I'll be reliant upon your collective leadership, and as we move forward, I will perform the duties to the best of my ability, and always put the citizens and the staff first. Like I said, I'll be relying upon your collective leadership. I look forward to meeting all the challenges that we face in the next several years. The council will guide, we will execute. I say we, my staff and myself. I'll look to the economic opportunities that will be that'll be at the front of my focus moving forward. I think we'll explore and capitalize upon these opportunities that benefit our citizens. Small businesses will be given renewed attention. I think that's very important. As we come out of the pandemic, I intend to reinstate our outreach to the public. I think we need to get out there and see, get face to face with the public. So I'll be focused on that. The well-being of our staff and our citizens is the highest priority to me. I'd like to just be very brief, and Special thanks to the City Attorney Rose Zimmerman, how Dr. Rod said through the 6 months, he and I had a good foundation of what we were doing. Rose was indispensable colleague during that time as well. I'd like to thank the staff across the entire city. Very highly skilled, dedicated, committed experts, and they're crucial to our success. Equal opportunity at all levels will continue and improve during my tenure. That will be a priority of mine. I don't think I'm here before you without my executive staff, and I'll name them: Cameron, Chayla, Denise, Joshua, Natalie, Richard, Ron, Tatum, Tim, and my immediate staff, Leilani and Charlie. I look forward to working with the dedicated commissioners as well. I think they are a very important cog of what makes the city run, and they're integral to our collective successes. My family, friends, and colleagues, let me digress. Not bad for a sewer guy, right? I just say that because anything's possible if I'm standing up here today. At this point, well, like I said, if it wasn't for my family, I'd still be digging the sewers, and that's a very respectable job that I was proud to do. But I would still be there if it wasn't for my family. So I'd like to take, if I can ask and indulge the mayor for a brief 5-minute recess so that I can introduce my family to all of you,
Absolutely.
if that's okay.
All right, absolutely. We'll
Thank
take
you
a
very
5-minute
much.
recess.
Thank you,
and
sir.
We're back in 5 minutes. Go
Okay,
ahead.
I'm going to call my family up here. All of my family needs to come up.
presentations. We have proclamations regarding Human Trafficking Prevention Month, and here to present both proclamations is the Vice Mayor. The first one for Pamela Estes for Human Trafficking Program Coordinator of San Mateo County. Ms. Estes?
Sorry,
Oh,
you got me tonight.
it's you tonight.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. Unfortunately, Pamela Estes, the San Mateo County Human Trafficking Organization Coordinator, was not able to make it to the in-person meeting tonight. Due to our ongoing relationship with the police department, she asked that I accept the proclamation on her behalf this evening and share the following remarks with you that she provided via email. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. I am pleased to accept this proclamation. Thank you for your time in placing this important proclamation on the agenda to bring the crime of human trafficking to the attention of those participating in the meeting tonight. The San Mateo County Human Trafficking Program was created in 2016 and is sponsored by the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office in cooperation with the San Mateo County Police Chiefs and Sheriff's Association. Unfortunately, many people continue to think human trafficking is a crime that only happens in other counties or countries, but they are mistaken. It occurs throughout the United States and in San Mateo County. It happens to all genders, foreign nationals, and United States citizens. In fact, the latest data collected by the San Mateo County Human Trafficking Program indicates that law enforcement agencies and nonprofits identify a range of 282 to 306 human trafficking victims a year who have some nexus with San Mateo County. These responses include minors and adults, labor and sex trafficking victims. We have no way of knowing how many people are victimized who don't cross paths with an agency or organization who can identify what's going on. The San Mateo County Human Trafficking Program works to enhance the response to human trafficking countywide. We seek to improve collaborative partnerships among county agencies and non-governmental organizations, working to enhance the delivery of service to victims, training to law enforcement, providing training and education, and raising community awareness about the crime of human trafficking. The Human Trafficking Program hosts a monthly meeting called the Human Trafficking Initiative. It is open to members of the governmental, non-governmental, faith, and community-based organizations and members of the public who have a role or interest in the response to human trafficking within San Mateo County. These meetings focus on the response to human trafficking within the county, along with delivering relevant information on all aspects of human trafficking. We ask the community to learn about this crime so they understand how to identify the crime, and ask that if they see something, they say something. If someone is in immediate danger, it is recommended the reporting person call 911. To report suspicious circumstances from anywhere in the United States, they can contact the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 888-373-7888. And human trafficking is also considered child abuse. So if you suspect a minor, you can also call the San Mateo County CPS hotline at 866-901-3212. To contact the San Mateo County Human Trafficking Program with any questions, to request training for your agency or organization, or to get more involved in the anti-trafficking movement, you can email stophumantrafficking@smcgov.org or visit the county website at stophumantraffickingsmc.org. Thank you for passing this resolution and raising awareness in your city. Additionally, from a police department perspective, I wanted to acknowledge our department's continued collaboration with the program. We have a liaison officer who attends monthly meetings as available. We participate in coordinated operations and stings to identify and support victims and arrest those responsible. Also, we have implemented practices in our investigations to scan for victims of human trafficking to provide access to services as appropriate. We have been able to support victims we have identified, and in doing so, utilize services from several county collaborative partnerships to provide services as needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain Christensen. At this time, we have a second proclamation to present on the Human Trafficking Prevention Month, and this is for the Justice for Rainbow Bright Workers Task Force. The members are Theodore Trunco and Pat Resila. Madam Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. With this proclamation, it says, whereas the United States Senate designated January 11 as National Human Trafficking Awareness Day in 2007, and beginning in 2010 by presidential proclamation, each January has been designated National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month. Whereas human trafficking involves commercial sexual exploitation and labor exploitation. Sex trafficking is defined as a commercial sex act that is induced by force, fraud, or coercion. But if the person has not attained the age of 18 years old, force, fraud, or coercion is not required. Labor trafficking is defined as the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, or obtaining of a person for labor or services through the use of force, fraud, or coercion for the purpose of subjection to involuntary servitude, peonage, debt bondage, or slavery. And whereas human trafficking is a human rights violation and a violation of both federal and California law, it also promotes the breakdown of families and communities, fuels organized crime, deprives countries of human capital, undermines public health, and imposes large economic costs. And whereas the crime of human trafficking is present in every country and in every U.S. state, and whereas the FBI has identified California and the San Francisco Bay Area as an area of high prevalence for human trafficking. Although human trafficking is illegal, victims often do not recognize their victimization, do not know that help is available, or where to seek assistance. And whereas forced labor, involuntary domestic servitude, and commercial sexual exploitation of adults and youth have been found to exist within local communities, whereas the City of Daly City has dedicated resources, including the San Mateo County Human Trafficking Program, and supported the efforts of San Mateo County Police Chiefs and Sheriff's Association to identify, address, and prevent human trafficking within San Mateo County. And Mayor Bonaventura and the members of the City Council now to proclaim January 23, 2023 as Human Trafficking Prevention Month. And we would like to ask Justice for Rainbow Bright Coalition to please accept this resolution for your tireless work in Daly City when human trafficking happened at, unfortunately, last year and a couple years ago.
Go ahead, please.
Just on behalf of, hi, thank you. Good evening, City Council and the public. Just on behalf of the Justice for Rainbow Bright Workers Task Force, we welcome the proclamation, and we also want to thank y'all. Y'all were there at the beginning when we were trying to seek out means of conducting Know Your Rights trainings to allow many of these over 100 Filipino workers who were subjected to various types of abuses, including labor trafficking from the Philippines to here in Daly City. We know this is a difficult issue to tackle, but through being able to materially support us and morally support us as well, we appreciate the proclamation and the offering for us tonight, and we hope to continue to the fight and have this be a significant victory for many, not just Filipino workers, but all workers who are labor trafficked, and to have this be a means of saying no. Those of us here in Daly City, we say no to human trafficking, and we will bring those to justice who wish to violate those means.
I just want to keep it short. I just want to say I just co-signed with Pat for the most part, and then just thank you for the mayor, vice mayor, council members for collectively being part of this, and then the greater community in terms of saying, agreeing and recognizing what's wrong is wrong and what's right is right. That's all.
Thank you. I think we have some comments. Dr. Rod, go ahead.
Yes, it's crazy how, I don't want to say it's crazy, but the phenomenon of human trafficking is a prevalent issue that still continues today. And it sometimes just goes under the radar. Sometimes it's the people that you see walking down the street. Sometimes we've accepted it as almost an assumption of almost a racial and class caste system where, and I'm just speaking from my understanding, is, in terms of like Filipino Americans and the, I would say, racial caste system in terms of using free labor as a way to exploit and capitalize on quote unquote friendships or kinships. But, when we're here, we got to recognize that their labor has value, and their labor is more than their labor, but they are human first. They're humanity first. So the work that you all do, thank you for doing the work that you all do, and I'll be right there by your side whenever you need my help when we're organizing workers and recognizing and acknowledging that these things happen, and there has to be ways of addressing it systematically to understand why these types of abuses still continue today. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rudd. Any other comments? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. So first I want to say, I want to give you an update on someone. I'm not going to say their name because I recently gave a phone call from one of those victims. So what I want to say about you, with your education that you've given them, the power that you've given them, and even though that, I know the status that they now have, some of them, I don't want to reveal the person, called me, and they were able to help other people because they were working recently in a place and they knew more of the signs and actually knew how to educate them and how to let them know about retaliation and let them know about their rights. And so this work that you're doing, I know it's hard. I know it's heartfelt because I did it with SF-CAT, the Jewish group that was started in San Francisco, anti-human trafficking, and we work with Homeland Security. But I wanted you to know that the benefits that you're providing them, I know you see it, but I want you to know it's still going and they are passing it on. Because they asked me to help, I'm helping this one particular person. It is a Daly City business right now, and that I will probably be in touch with you. And because one of your prior ones has educated them to get them to safe and wants to get them to safety. So, and it's really sad because it does happen under the radar, as Dr. Rod has alluded to, and that people have no idea because they're scared. So they don't speak up and they don't know what to do, or their status, or been threatened, or sometimes their visas are taken away, right? So their visas are taken away, where do they go? Like some of the other victims that were sleeping outside with cans of, I want people to know how brutal it was. It was brutal, right? Young kids outside with dog food. Children, happening in Daly City. Yeah. So I hope that as we move forward, we have a Bay Area anti-trafficking, and that we can go back and maybe train our employees that are out doing a code enforcement like we had done at one time. And I'll speak with Mr. Piccolotti about it, and he can get in touch with the SF-CAT group as well. And there's a certain training that when they go out, they can look for signs like certain bids or what have you in our ADUs, so that we can all know and we can all help. Because it's really heartbreaking. And you already know how they go from one, they send those over to Oakland, or they'll send them to South Carolina. They don't keep them here. They want to ship them, right? Because there's a lot of money involved, a lot of money. So thank you, and I know that Father Leonard and Father Jurek, you can always use their church, and you have a safe haven. So, I'll be there, and I'll be speaking to Mr. Piccolotti as well. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and that this person that you've helped so much. Thank you.
Any other comments? Go ahead, Mr. Sylvester.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was listening to you speak, and I tried to take in every word you said. And something really stood out to me in your speech, and I just wanted to put it out there. First of all, I'm sorry what happened in regards to Rainbow Bright. I'm very well aware of it. It leads to other issues that has come to light in Daly City, such as wage theft, Comey Restaurant, such as domestic violence. And you said something that really stood out to me, and what you said is, it happens across, I'm not going to quote your exact words, but you said it happens across all spectrums and cultures. I think that's very, very important.
It does.
No one particular culture is the only one subject to human trafficking. It happens across various cultures. I have to commend my colleagues for this, excuse me, this proclamation. I think on the road to addressing the issue of human trafficking, as well as these other crimes such as wage theft and domestic violence, is number one, that we assist in providing the awareness. And the awareness is happening tonight by the both of you being here. And the work you continue to do needs to continue. We can't depend on just Daly City and its council members and staff. It depends on the community as well. And when we all work together, the word will definitely get out. And who knows, this might be a model for other cities to follow. So I think this is a first step in the right direction. And I'd like to commend my colleagues here, and as well as the community and you folks as well. So thank you very much, and congratulations. Thank you.
Madam Vice Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Pat, Diodore, thank you for being here this evening to receive the proclamation and really the boots on the ground that happened during what unfortunately happened in Daly City. You know, it's really a testament of the work that you did around organizing and really aiding to those individuals that really needed that assistance right away to get out of such horrific circumstances. And so I just also wanted to share, because of your advocacy, last year, Attorney General Rob Bonta was able to secure the guilty verdict against that family, right? And so it just shows that just a continuous effort to be able to help those around you and in long term ensure that there's justice. So thank you, and you all should be commended for your work. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming, and thank you for your good work.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
May I just add one more?
Go ahead.
For you, I know because you guys work with our chief and all the law enforcement that's involved as well. And I know that I commend, because I know they have done a county-wide, as you guys know as well. So they're always here for you. I remember back in the day, I know this a long time ago, Harrison was in charge. But, and then now we have them on the ground with our Homeland Security working with all of you. So, you know, knowing that you have the support is really important. So the doors are always open, and they'll give you the support that you need. It's very important. So you're not alone. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to item number 3 under presentations, which is the DCPLA Gordon L. King Memorial Grant to the Daly City Public Library with President Monica DiVincenzi of the Daly City Public Library Associates. Ms. DiVincenzi, you have the floor. Good evening.
Yay.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. If I can just digress for 1 minute. On behalf of DCPLA, the Daly City Coloma Chamber of Commerce, and Republic Services, we'd just like to take a moment to congratulate Tom on his new post. We're very excited about continuing to work with you and the City Council and the Office of the City Manager, so congratulations. Dear Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, on behalf of the Board of Directors of DCPLA, I'm pleased to present a check for $5,500 to support our Daly City libraries. This funding is thanks to the generous donation toward the ongoing Gordon L. King Jr. Memorial Grant. Of the $5,500, $1,125 has been dedicated for a kitchen set at the Bay Shore branch, $4,150 for counter seating at the Westlake branch, and $225 for a document scanning station at the Saramonte branch, which is to supplement what the library is paying out of their budget for that project. For those of you who may not know, the Gordon L. King Jr. Memorial Grant was established in 2021 by a DCPLA member as a tribute to his father and to his grandmother, who was a stalwart supporter and advocate for libraries. Through the generosity of this grant so far, DCPLA has given $14,000 to our Daly City public libraries. We are forever grateful for his ongoing donations, and I would be remiss if I didn't give a gentle reminder that establishing a memorial grant is a great way to honor someone you've loved. If it is something anyone is considering, please consider DCPLA. We are also planning our annual St. Patrick's Day luncheon on March 17th, so please keep an eye out for more information coming soon on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. I'm sure we have some comments. Ms. Vice Mayor, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much, President Monica, for your continued support to the libraries. I will say that is coined by Mayor Bonaventura, that you all are the gift that keeps on giving. And it's really wonderful to see how the impact is across the whole library system. As you mentioned, the Bay Shore, Westlake, Saramonte, and really helping assist in what those needs are specifically to those libraries. And what a beautiful tribute. And that's just wonderful to see how the honor to Gordon L. King is around being able to give back to libraries. So thank you for this wonderful tribute and donation to the libraries and your amazing work. And I'll be seeing you on St. Patrick's.
Wonderful, thank you.
Dr. Rod?
Yes, thank you, Monica, and the rest of DCPLA. You're always out there in the community, providing, sharing resources, giving back. Thank you is probably like, if there was a word more valuable than thank you. I appreciate all the work that you all do, and thank you to the Gordon L. King Memorial Fund for supporting our libraries and giving the resources for our whole community to have access to.
Thank you.
Ms. DiGiovanni, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, President, wow, that's a great sounding, Monica. You're really moving up here. We're proud to have you as the president and everybody else DCPLA, and echo the thing you make your announcement for our upcoming festivities that we're going to have. And to the Gordon King and to the families, that's a great way to memorialize your loved ones and to give back so others can continue to live, and making it sure that it's equitable across the board in our city, that our Bay Shore is not left out. Everyone is benefiting, and it seems to me that we're invigorating the community through the libraries. And to let people know it's only $20 if they would like to join and become a member. If you'd like to give more, that'd be great. You can see our president over here, or Victoria, or anyone, and to keep it going, it's just a small token, but the work that you guys do, and you always bring in the good news. So I know that you always do it with heart too. So thank you, and thank you, your board, and just keep it going, and see you at the lunch. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Sylvester, do you have a comment?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Monica, thank you so much, and I thank DCPLA. I did some research while this was going on, and I looked it up, and it was back in September 27th, 2021. And what was special about that was right in the midst of the pandemic. And through the grant, Daly City received a fund to primarily go to the Bay Shore area to help promote and provide Wi-Fi and play-away launch pads for checkout. And tonight you've indicated specific areas where this funding should go to. And if anybody knows, it's DCPLA. And that tells me that DCPLA has done its homework and they picked the best. We don't just receive a check and say, hey, spend it as you need for the libraries. You specifically said where it should go. We thank the Gordon L. King Memorial Grant Fund for providing these funds, and to DCPLA for always supporting our libraries here in Daly City, and especially for those who use the library. So again, thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you. Please thank the family for us as well. All right, let's go on to approval of the minutes. Item number 4 of the regular meeting of January 9th, 2023. Can I motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Glenn Sylvester, second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Objection, hearing none, those minutes are approved. Let's go on to public appearances, oral communications. I have so far two speaker cards. The first one is Brent Turner. Mr. Turner, you have 2 minutes. Hello, Brent.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. Where am I? Hello, hello?
You're on.
Am I on?
Yeah.
Good. Thank you very much. Thank you, City Council, and thanks for the proceedings tonight. I just, as a citizen of San Mateo County, wanted to congratulate you on who I have to disclose is my pal, Tom Piccolotti. I know Tom in real life, and as I think most of you know, I tend to go after government in my pursuits as an advocate, as an activist. So it pleases me to see that you're moving forward and that he's able to serve, because I know him in, again, real life, and Tom has great passion and a sense of service to the community, a very honorable person, as you can tell from his beautiful family. So I just wanted to put my 2 cents in and stick around and say that when you know somebody from real life and understand what is real about life, and of course, we're all feeling the reverberations today. Specifically, I just came from Half Moon Bay. It is important that we have good leadership, and so I applaud you for your decision, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Brent.
Thank you.
Nina Phillips of HIP Housing. Good evening.
Good evening. Hi there, my name's Nina. I'm joining you today as a representative from HIP Housing. We're an affordable housing nonprofit operating throughout San Mateo County, which for 50 years has invested in human potential by improving the housing and lives of people in our community. On behalf of HIP Housing, I would like to thank the Honourable Mayor and the members of the City of Daly City for your enduring support of our organisation and our affordable housing initiatives. As a symbol of our appreciation for your partnership, I'd like to present the Council with HIP Housing's 2023 calendar. I believe they were dropped off last week, so hopefully you have them in hand.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Great to hear. This calendar features art from 12 young artists living in the county, selected from a pool of over 250 entries. Every month corresponds with a drawing of a home and a quote that shares, "What does home mean to you?" We are so proud to work throughout San Mateo County and the City of Daly City to create affordable housing solutions for low-income families and individuals. Each year, we house over 1,200 people thanks to our strong partnerships with local governments. As you know, a lot of people in this county move from city to city for their jobs and housing. And during the fiscal year of 2021 to 2022, our programs served 3,281 of those individuals and helped house 1,241. That included 49 new families in our self-sufficiency program, 60 adults, 77 children, and housing people through our HIP-owned and managed affordable housing units as well. just to close out, I'd like for you to, if you've got your calendar there, the month of June, one of my favorite quotes there from Taryn L., who's from nearby South San Francisco. She's a kindergartner, and she says, "My home is special to me because my family is there. It is where I feel comfortable and safe." I just love that quote, and the drawing is quite nice as well. I hope that you can all hang these in your offices proudly and share with folks what we do at HIP Housing. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right, then we have Bob Quinn. Good evening, Bob.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council members. I just wanted to say I hope that you're not going to take away the ability for the public to call in, because I think that's a vital element for people who are that just can't get here, you know. And if it's okay if you get your comment written into the record and it goes to you guys, but then it's never going to be spoken or heard. And I know sometimes people that call in can be a bit caustic, myself included, but I really do like listening to John Daly once in a while. I mean, I know he's not exactly awe-inspiring, but he does have something to say, and he has a right to say it, as do we all. And I just want to stick up for everybody's rights for that to happen. And also, congratulations, Tom, but I didn't see that there were any other candidates. It was just him. You said you were going to have candidates in January or something for city manager, but he seems to be eminently qualified, and so I will be working with him, and we'll be talking to you later, Tom. We got some problems to talk to you about. The other thing is that now I had a third point. I must have forgot it somewhere along the line, but anyway. That was the main thing about being able to call in and talk to Oh, the other thing was about the police report that was supposed to be forthcoming with what happened here at City Hall, and it went and we never heard back about anything. We never came back, so we don't know what happened. You know, and I just was kind of shocked that we never got any word one way or another of wrongdoing or liability or an investigation or a push or whatever went on there. So I just would kind of, things just happen and we never hear about it again ever, and it's kind of frustrating. So, but those are my points. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Let's go on to the, oh, I'm sorry. Was there any other public comment on record? Nothing. Okay. Let's go on to the consent agenda. Do any of the council members want to pull any items on the consent agenda?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, please.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Oh,
I'm sorry. We had one public comment, sorry. Before we, all right. Mr. Ray Satori. Mr. Satori, go ahead.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, I came here tonight to congratulate Mr. Tom Picoliti as your new Chief Executive Officer of this great city, Daly City. As a member of the Bayanihan Resource Center, and some members I see also in the Knights of Columbus and Lions Club of Daly City, we assure you that we are going to give our support to him. As Robert Burns would have to say it, that this position would be the road to less trouble. People who will travel into this kind of position will surely face a lot of disagreement. But that is a part of the process or the dynamics of being a leader. And with this, I would like to say, in a Bayanihan way, we will give our support to you. In case there is any issues, we can have this resolved through a summit conference with the community. With this, the Honorable Mayor, thank you very much and welcome back.
Thank you, Mr. Satori. Thank you. All right, let's go on to the consent agenda. Ms. DiGiovanni, you wanted to pull an item?
Yes, please. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 8, 9, and 11, please.
With the exception of 8, 9, and 11, unless there's anyone else, can I get a motion to approve 5, 6, 7, 10, and 12?
Motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any objection? Hearing none, those items are approved. Let's go back to item number 8, which is approve Public Works Department Administration reorganization and proposed staffing changes.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. The item before you is Public Works Department Administration reorganization and proposed staffing changes. With recent retirements among the admin staff in Public Works, myself as well as other managers in Public Works, we reevaluated the administration staff needs to better align with current and future needs within the Public Works Department. We are proposing to replace the Office Assistant 2 position with an Office Assistant 3 position, and then also to reinstate the Public Works Management Analyst position. The need for higher technical skills are needed due to regulations required for stormwater quality, air quality, hazardous waste mitigation, use of pesticides. All of these requirements have become more and more stringent over the years. In addition, with the help of City Manager's Office and the support of the City Council, Public Works has been very successful in applying for and receiving grant funds from federal, state, and county agencies. These grants have increased the workload and the need for capital improvement project support. The positions will also provide assistance to department managers with divisional issues. Replacing the Office Assistant 2 position with the Office Assistant 3 position allows us the ability to perform more complex technical tasks, such as preparing and helping with plans and specifications, as well as agreements and other documents. The reinstatement of the Public Works Management Analyst position will help with the significant backlog of capital projects that we currently have, many of which are grant-funded projects. The position will be partially offset by the removal of the full-time hourly Office Assistant 2 position. The projected salary increase will be approximately $30,000 for the current fiscal year. So in summary, staff is requesting that the City Council review the reorganization proposed for the Public Works Admin Division and approve the positions and associated salary adjustments required to implement the changes. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions from the City Council.
Any questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to commend you because things have changed. Public Works has changed from, as we know, evolved. And for them to know that people are in like a lot of hazardous positions, especially during these storms. And thank the interim, well, now city manager, for working on this with him and to make sure that we evolve and keep up with the demands, because I know that the employees have really been doing a lot more than what their jobs, they always go above and beyond anyway, but I know that the demands are there. So thank you for recognizing that so that they can have the equality that they deserve and the title they deserve for the work that they actually do and what the demands are of Public Works, because it's pretty demanding. And hopefully we can get more staff as we go forward in each of these departments. I know they've been very, very low and never got back the staff in all these departments. And hopefully that we can work on that in some kind of plan going forward. And thank you. And thank you for your support during the storms. Excellent. And our city manager. And I think it's a good thing that you guys have created. So thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Any other questions? If not, can I get a motion to approve item number 9?
Motion to approve item number 9.
Second?
Item number 8.
I'm sorry, 8.
8, yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any objection? Hearing none, item number 8 is approved. Let's go on to item number 9, which is the authorized city manager to execute contract with Habitat for Humanity Greater San Francisco for pilot program to carry out housing rehab loan program. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Tonight, staff is recommending that council approve a contract with Habitat for Humanity Greater San Francisco to administer the city's housing rehabilitation loan program. Habitat will be taking on work that historically has been carried out by city staff. The program is 100% funded with community development block grant dollars, and the proposed contract is organized as a pilot program in which Habitat will carry out rehabilitation of 2 homes, giving staff the opportunity to evaluate whether use of an outside contractor like Habitat to carry out the program works well and whether we'd like to continue. I'm available to answer any questions you have. Matt Rosen, Chief Program Officer from Habitat for Humanity, is also here tonight if you have any particular questions.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yeah, thank you. Well, yeah, I have a couple of questions. So is this similar to the Rebuilding Together, Betsy, or is it something totally separate?
We have a contract with Rebuilding Together Peninsula to carry out minor home repair. Typically, the projects that they take on have a value of maybe $2,500, maybe at most $5,000. These are minor home repairs that are carried out on a grant basis. Habitat for Humanity would be taking on something significantly more involved. They would become our loan officers, our loan administrators, and they would carry out the construction on projects that typically would have values of at least $25,000 and going up as high as $75,000 or $100,000. When we started looking around for somebody who might want to administer our housing rehab program, I interviewed several organizations, including Rebuilding Together. At that time, Rebuilding Together wasn't interested. They didn't have the capacity to move into lending, and they're not experienced with home lending. Habitat for Humanity, having developed houses all over the Bay Area, they are very, very well versed in all the intricacies of home lending. So it seemed like a better fit for this.
So given that, because we all know that this is a big need, especially in Daly City with our seniors or those that have that, and we've all faced that with the stairs and everything, and the costs are high. So this does give them ability, so it gives them a more comprehensive, so they could do more than one repair, hopefully, while they go in and repair it.
Under our housing rehab program, we address all code deficiencies when we're there. So when we walk away from a complete housing rehab project in Daly City, we address everything that they originally were asking for, as well as anything else that might be a danger in the house.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. And then thank you, Tatum, as well, because I know it's very, very important, because I remember we were having limitations, and I think that was also an issue for all of you, which you would have loved to have given them more, the residents, but the limitations. So this actually gives them, thank you for doing the work and research. And to Habitat for Humanity, thank you you've always been a great partner as well. So thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Any other questions? Ms.
Yes,
Vice-
Mr. Mayor.
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Sylvester.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the update, Ms. Obel. The question I have is, under the FHA program 203K, do we get involved with that, or will this continue for housing rehabilitation?
I don't know what that program is.
It's a program under the federal government that provides funding for housing rehabilitation. That's Section 203K of the it's similar to Section 8, but this is specifically for housing rehabilitation.
I'll look into that.
Thank you.
I
Okay,
haven't heard of it before.
Yes, I would appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Sylvester. Ms. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Ms. Obel, for your presentation. I think that you've done the due diligence in regards to this matter, and with Habitat for Humanity, working alongside with them with other projects within the city of Daly City. It definitely shows that the scope of work that you've indicated in the report is something that they're definitely capable of. And so I appreciate all your work on this, and I'm ready to vote.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, can I get a motion to approve item number 9?
Motion to approve item number 9.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Objection, hearing none, item 9 is approved. And the final consent item is to set time and place of public hearing, proposed ordinance adding chapter 2.6 to the code for commissioners and board member compensation. We actually have 3 commissioners who are here today. Commissioners, I want to recognize them, Commissioner Sattore, Commissioner Panisa, and also Commissioner Panisa. So this item is regarding commissioners and board members' compensation. Who would like to speak on that?
I can speak to it, Mr. Mayor. Members of the City Council, this is a cleanup ordinance. Currently, the commissioners and board members do not receive compensation, and we have several ordinances, about 6 different boards that indicate that they do not receive compensation. This is a cleanup ordinance repealing that, and the resolution will be presented to the council for adoption once we clean up the ordinance.
Okay. Ms. DiGiovanni?
Yes, thank you. No, my question was, I didn't see an attachment to here so I could look for the ordinance before even trying to look into it. Did I miss something that didn't?
No, there would not be an attachment, Ms. DiGiovanni. This is a notice just to set time and place. The ordinance would be then published and presented at the first reading at the hearing.
And then we can have our discussions then on it?
That is correct. So you currently would have an ordinance that would just clean up the current ordinances that indicate that there is no compensation. There will be a resolution attached to that would establish the compensation. So the ordinance would indicate that the compensation would be set by resolution.
Okay, of whatever we discuss, or if we decide not to have compensation at all, right? We can make that decision at the public hearing.
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right,
Thank
any
you.
other comments? Okay. With that, no comments, can I get a motion to approve item number 11?
So move.
Second?
Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any objection? Hearing none, that item is approved. Thank you very much, everybody. Let's go on to communications under item number 13, which is the update on status of development of Samtrans property at 3501 Junipero Serra Boulevard, Park and Ride Lot. Ms. Mothershead.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. Before you this evening, we have Samtrans staff who will be making a presentation regarding the history of the Park and Ride lot at 3501 Junipero Serra. They'll be talking about their journey to potentially developing the parcel, and after that, they will be requesting a letter of support from the city, and we can talk about that, but I thought it would be more appropriate if they give the presentation first so you can get all the background information. So I'm pleased to introduce Michaela Petrick and Jessica Epstein, who will be presenting this evening.
Hi, good evening, council members. First council meeting in person in many, many years. It's nice to be here. My name is Jessica Epstein. I'm the Manager of Government and Community Affairs for the San Mateo County Transit District. And as Tatum said, we are here tonight to give you a little bit of an update on our very large and very underutilized parking lot at the Colma BART station, and to ask for your support in our efforts to develop that lot into housing. I'm going to turn this over to my colleague, Michaela Petrick, and then we're happy to answer any questions.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks again for having us. I'm Michaela Petrick. Thank you to Jessica for giving the intro. So we're here to ask for your support for developing the Colma Park and Ride lot in Daly City into housing. To give a little background, Samtrans acquired this land in 1986 and entered into a cooperative agreement with the Federal Highway Administration, or FHWA, and Caltrans. This site is approximately 8.7 acres and 817 parking stalls, which is a significant amount of space. And we're really eager to transform this into housing to use it to its best extent. It's a great location for transit-oriented development, being right next to the BART station. Next slide, please. As we all know, San Mateo County and the Bay Area region is facing a severe housing shortage. This property could be home to a large housing development and help chip away at this issue. BART and MTC both support housing and have sent us letters of support for this proposal. We started working on this in 2014, and we've sought approval from FHWA, but we've run into a snag. They want to keep the land for parking, and without their approval, we cannot develop the site. Next slide, please. So back in 1986, the Daly City BART station was the end of the BART line. The Colma Park and Ride lot existed before the Colma BART station opened. And the original environmental impact report for the Park and Ride project outlined 4 original needs, all of which no longer apply due in part to the BART expansion. So I'll go through each briefly. First, the lot served as a spot for parking for bus and rideshare. Samtrans used to operate commuter bus service to and from San Francisco, and we no longer operate that service to the same extent because of the BART extension down to Millbrae and to SFO. It also used to serve as Daly City BART parking overflow. That was another one of the original needs. And again, because of the expansion of BART, there are many parking lots at the stations down to Millbrae. So this original need is also no longer applicable. Next slide, please. It also used to serve as a potential site for the Daly City turnback. Back when Daly City was the end of the line, they needed space for the BART trains to turn back around and head back to the city. But again, starting to sound like a broken record, now that Millbrae is the end of the line, that no longer applies. And then finally, the fourth original need was to mitigate future Daly City BART service increases. And again, with the SFO extension project and expansion of BART, that is no longer applicable. Next slide, please. So Samtrans, in partnership with Caltrans, has commissioned 3 studies to look into the potential effects of developing housing at the site. And the studies concluded first that a housing development on the site would produce more BART riders than if all 817 parking spaces were used by people traveling by BART, which to us is really significant. It would also decrease regional vehicle miles traveled and decrease regional greenhouse gases. Next slide. Samtrans has also conducted parking usage analyses. Back in 2018, pre-pandemic, we had people out at the lot counting how many cars were there and also looking at where the people went after they parked. And we found a daily average of approximately 500 cars parked in the lot, which is just a little bit over half. And of that, 88 of them were affiliated with private tech shuttles. We did this count again in 2022, this past fall, and found a daily average of approximately 80 total cars, which now is only 1/10 of the entire parking lot. And notably, an average of fewer than 10 passengers going to BART. Next slide, please. So this just shows the project timeline. And just to note, of the $8.5 million land acquisition and project construction costs, FHWA contributed around $3.5 million and Samtrans paid around $5 million. And those figures are in 1986 dollars, so it translates to a much higher amount today. And those are just to show that we really have a considerable amount of money in this space. Next slide, please. This is not the first time that we've run this project by Daly City. Back in 2016 and 2017, we met with council committees to discuss the potential for developing the site. And at the time, council and staff indicated their support for a 500-unit project with at least 15% affordable housing on the site. And we're back again now, and we're eager to work through the obstacles we've encountered to make this housing development a reality. Next slide. looking forward to the future of the site, we could see a minimum of 500 units on the site. It could go even higher than that, depending on Daly City's needs and the region's housing needs. We can also reserve parking spots for people who still continue to park and use the BART station, and also include future dedicated locations for Samtrans buses. And we think this will help you all meet your housing requirements. We know that you're under pressure to meet some RENA numbers, and we think this could help fill in some potential gaps. And then finally, just new residents would also generate revenue as they live and shop and dine all within the city. Next slide, please. We've identified 3 potential solutions to move forward with FHWA, and I'll talk through each one very briefly. Next slide, please. First, FHWA could dispose of the property as excess real property. The lot meets the standard for excess real property because, as I previously explained, its original transportation purposes that are laid out in the environmental impact report no longer exist. I know there's a lot of text on here. I'm moving through it fairly quickly though. Next slide, please. Another option is FHWA could grant a right-of-way use agreement. And with this, FHWA would need to find that the new use is within the public interest. And because the region as a whole has a significant housing shortage, we believe housing is in the public interest. Next slide, please. We are also looking into a potential legislative solution. We could get language in a bill that explicitly authorizes the transfer and use change of the property. I also want to add that we're approaching this issue from several angles. As you saw, a few different solutions. We've met with FHWA local and DC offices. We've met with the U.S. Department of Transportation officials in DC, Caltrans. We have our legislative advocates on it, and we also are meeting with our delegation at the state and federal levels. Next slide, please. To summarize, we have in front of us a great opportunity to develop a TOD project to help address the county's housing shortage. The circumstances have changed a lot since 1986, and we're really excited to move forward with something that we think would deliver a large benefit to the community. And we think that in addition to BART and MTC support, that securing the support of Daly City would be really important in helping us move forward and get approval from FHWA. Thank you so much, and we're available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I think that that site is underutilized, and from your presentation, you've been showing kind of the underutilization of it. My question is for staff. Number one, is this on Daly City, within the city of Daly City? Yes. Okay, thank you very much. And then for all of you, you mentioned in your presentation that there would be at least a minimum of 75 units that would be committed to deeply affordable housing. Is that number concrete? Or is it flexible?
So that's actually not something that we've decided yet. I think 75 was a number of parking, I think the number of parking spots that we could retain. In terms of affordable housing, that is not something that we've looked into yet. We're just trying to move forward, take this first step to look into development in general. And
when we met with the council in 2016, we agreed to 15%, so that's 5% above the Daly City requirement, but we are fully open to really coming to the right solution for this community on the percentage of affordable. You know, we are a transit agency. Any revenue does support public transportation. Our ridership is extraordinarily low income, so there will be a balance there, but our board is very committed to doing the right thing with this property.
That's wonderful. I think that, I mean, it's a really an integral piece to combining transit-oriented development right there next to Coma BART and Samtrans, obviously. I used to sit on the Samtrans Citizen Advisory Council. many months ago and shared it. So this probably had come to that committee as well. But I wanted to just see if, what the possibilities are, given what has transpired in Millbrae, the opportunity to have 100% affordable, as well as market rate, understanding that you all are a transit agency that needs to fulfill, some fiduciary needs. But I hope to see that maybe that, with the city of Daly City, given that there is a huge need for more affordable housing opportunities as well as middle income, right? So there's the very low, I think the potential to have a standalone affordable housing, opportunity as well as market rate. I don't know, I know this is a very initial stages, but I'm excited to see this and being brought forth again, given the state of what our needs are for RENA numbers, and also just the lack of land to develop within the city of Daly City. And so for me, I think it's, number one, looking at the potential to partner with the county as well as the state to find more dollars, potentially to have more affordable housing units at a lower income. And then also understanding what can transpire if you all create market rate housing. And then, with those below market rate units, given a different AMI level. I think there could be some creative solutions to fill a lot of needs. And I'm really glad to see that you've come back and hopefully this moves forward. And I think it's wonderful because it's the right place and right time, I believe. So as far as it's not being used. Every time I drive by there, it's like 2 cars, 3 cars. It's like, what's going on? And so thank you for your presentation. I look forward to seeing what can transpire, whether it's working with maybe a combination of affordable housing developer on the affordable housing piece, or is it a market rate developer that'll be able to include some of the BMRs on site? I mean, those, I know you're in the initial stages, but my mind already moves to kind of what's the vision down the line, because that's where it heads. But I'm excited to see this come along. I'm in support of it because it's a need and it's the right place right next to transit. But I hope to see, as we work together, when we fine tune the plan, that there's higher affordability, like higher units for affordable units for the community. So, thank you.
Dr. Ryan?
Yes, I'm also in agreement with my colleague, the need for more housing, especially affordable housing. I think one thing that really caught my attention is the potential for the environment, having more homes next to public transportation, less cars, more access to public transportation, and it is right in the prime location, prime hub of transportation for BART and buses. So I'm full support of this letter and looking forward to working with you all.
Mr. Giovanni, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, it's great that I remember I think it was Mayor Buenaventura was on the council then when we all did a walk. I know you ladies, I don't know if you were with Samtrans then, when we went over to try to see what could be done with it, right? What could be done with this parcel? And then it went back and forth. I believe Sal was on the council at that time, right, Mayor? I believe so. And back and forth. So now here it is, and hopefully this time. And I know the first step is, it sounds like that we have to get FHWA, which is a federal agency, to see the light, to see that things have changed, not to stay in the box, right? And so my perception of what you gave in your presentation is that hopefully with mayor and council that we can offer our support and see with our city attorney how we can support together possibly with a letter or whatever we have to do to get it to try to move in that manner. And to work with our legislators, maybe if it comes to that, maybe our new congressman, Kevin Mullen, I know he'll fully be on board. He supports TODs and affordable housing at all levels and has experience in that manner. So maybe, and with our legislators, with Phil Teen or whomever, and maybe all of us together, we can get it moving, because I think that has to be the first step before we even start talking about numbers and what we really want down as defined as we move along, out of COVID and, things have changed quite a bit and a long time for recovery, right, for our city and for the people that live here. So, so respectfully with the mayor and our council and our city attorney, what we have to do is to ask if we can together, whatever you need to support, so we can make the first step to get to the next step, right? So if we show them in plain language, what are the needs? You already identified it, you did an analysis, and it's a current analysis. Present that current analysis to them so they won't have to do the work. And that analysis can be supported by our council if my other council members deem so, and then we can support your analysis, and then it'll make it more valid. If you need that kind of support, I'm all for that. And with our mayor and council to see where they're at on it, and our city attorney as well, I guess, who would draft the letter.
Okay.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Sylvester?
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Epstein, is this? The way you answered some of the questions were very well crafted. You're good. I just have to put that out there because I listen intently, and what I gather is no promises are being made, and that's what I like to hear. It's when we make promises and they don't go through, then folks tend to be upset. Michaela, I want to give you a few points that I've noticed from your presentation. The first point I'd like to make is thank you so much for thinking outside of the box. I made a little note here, and besides TOD, RENA numbers, and housing, and Ms. Epstein, we're very concerned about ridership, which will increase ridership. So that was good. But Michaela, you had made mention about revenue for the city. And given that location, which is close to Serramonte, and maybe shuttle service to Westlake, it's good. It's very good. And I think that would be a great improvement for our city. As my colleague had made mention, Daly City is very, very limited in land. And anywhere where we can find a partnership with someone else who owns the land, we should jump on it immediately. Immediately. Your parking analysis validated and verified what we see when we go by that parking lot all the time, and it's empty. And tech shuttles? So is that like, say, for instance, Apple or Google may pick up a whole bunch of folks, they meet there, and then they go on buses down to Cupertino and elsewhere? Well, what are we getting out of it? You know, I'm looking at that, and based upon the homework you have done very, very well. I can't see any reason why we shouldn't move forward. When you made mention of 2014, you should have been here yesterday. But I'm glad that this finally came before us. As Dr. Rod had made mention, number one is ridership, and we think about the benefits it brings when we're talking about ridership. And we're definitely trying to reduce greenhouse gases, to which you've also made mention. So everything sounds good. If I can make any recommendation, and I know we are in our preliminary stages, is as we move forward, let's consider density bonus, if it's possible. I understand that it has to pencil in to make sense to do the project because we want affordability. We have to meet certain numbers, but if we have to go higher, let's consider that as well. Let's bring those proposals through. So thank you so much for your presentation this evening, and I'm looking forward to working with you folks in the future. Thank you.
Councilmember Sylvester's one fact that I think you'll appreciate. That location, you know, we are a bus company. That's first and foremost. It's served by the 112, the 120, and the 130. The 120 is one of our most frequent and robust routes in our entire system, and will connect that location directly to the Serramonte Mall.
You see, very well crafted, Ms. Epstein. Very good.
I know my system.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Okay.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Sylvester. So I think it's clear that you have our support. I don't think we need a vote on this, do we, Rose? It's just for council determination?
We should have a vote.
Okay. Okay. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any objection? Hearing none, you have our letter of support. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Item number 14, replace citrus pump station roof. Mr. Cosgrove.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the City Council. I'd like to introduce to you Michael Patolo. He is the Plant Equipment Maintenance Manager for your Department of Water and Wastewater Resources, and he will give the presentation.
Great. Evening.
So, the citrus pump station's roof needs to be replaced. So staff is recommending, authorize staff to enter into agreement for construction service with Dubois Roofing to replace the citrus pump station roof in the amount not to exceed $109,712.30. In December 2022, multiple rain events took place. As a result, staff identified the citrus pump station roof leaking onto the sidewalk on Niantic Avenue, adjacent to the Public Works Building Maintenance Division. I do have some photographs for you guys if you'd like to take a look at it. So basically, as you can see in the photographs, it was the upper right and left portion of the roof. So on 792 of Niantic, it was dripping from the soffit. So staff was able to identify that. Further assessment was determined immediate action. And so a temporary spot repair was performed to stop leakage and prevent damage to roof infrastructure until further full replacement was accomplished. A site walkthrough for this project was scheduled for December 19th, and experienced roofers, contractors were notified by staff. On that day, 4 roofing contractors attended to assess and review the required scope for roof replacement. Proposals were due on January 5th, 2023, and each company that attended provided a proposal on cost. Below in the table are 4 roofing contractors' base proposals. If you see it in the agenda, Dubois Roofing had a base proposal cost of $95,402. Pioneer Contractors was $106,522. Strong Builder Services bid proposal was $127,000, and San Francisco Roofing Service Inc. Was $144,500. So based upon the assessment, Dubois Roofing's process possesses a California Contractor State License Board, license number 812304, and has been in business since 1996. And staff for this project is also requesting a 15% contingency amount of $14,000 $310.30 for a total not to exceed amount of $109,712.30. Does council have any questions on
Any
anything?
questions? Mr. Sylvester?
Thank you for your presentation and welcome.
Thank you.
I have a couple of questions by Mayor. What's the square footage of that roof?
I don't have that question, but I could look that up for you and get back to you.
Okay. And the next question is guarantee on the roof job? 10 years, 15 years, 25 years?
I have to get back to you on that one. The Dubois Roofing Company also did a project for Daly City, 350 90th Street in 2018. So they did work for the city previously. What I do is I'll go and research the length of how long this roof. We had a significant rain event on December 31st, and the spot repair, it held up, but we do need to have this replaced. So what I'll do is I'll get all the information necessary so that you will understand how long the roof will last.
Great. And according to your pictures here, it looks like tar and gravel.
That's correct.
Any thoughts go into changing that with new materials nowadays? Maybe they roll out the tar, and if you use a lighter material, in other words, lighter in color, because, you know, if we have sun, that tends to deteriorate a roof. If it's a dark roof, more sun, and it gets hotter. So can we look at any other recommended, or, you know, actually what's going on to this roof? You know, is it tar? Is it just going to be tar and gravel still? And if that's the best, because, you know, I hate to go in and say a few years down the line, then we have to do spot repairs again. In a way, it's good that we had the rains, because had we had not had the rains, we probably would not have known. So this kind of precipitated us having to move forward. So I think as we move forward, we should consider those aspects as well. But I would appreciate knowing what the square footage is and what kind of guarantee we can get from the vendors. It's not to say I'm not going to be against it, but it's something as we move forward that we can think about should something like this occur in the future. Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
All right, any other questions?
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead, Mr.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much. Welcome. I just have a couple of quick questions. So the companies that I know we use, I think which one was, we have used one of these before.
Actually, we used
Both of them?
all the prospective proposers.
Okay.
We
So
used them all.
these are mostly, are they signatory companies for labor?
They're all registered. They're minority-owned businesses. 3 out of the 4 are. They're registered with the San Francisco LBE, Local Business Enterprise.
And are they also, are they union workers?
Yes, these are rebelling
Okay.
projects.
Thank you. And thank you for the report. And thank you, Mr. Cosgrove.
Any other questions?
Good job.
No? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second?
Can I get a roll call, please?
Ms. DiGiovanni,
Yeah, aye.
Dr. Rod,
Aye.
Ms. Manalo,
Aye.
Mr. Sylvester,
Len Sylvester, aye.
Mr. Buenaventura.
Aye. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go on to appointments, to boards, commission, membership committee appointments. I would like to start. I have actually 3 appointments. So the first one is a motion to move Gary Pacheco, who is on the Planning Commission, to the Library Commission. Can I get a second on that?
Second.
Okay, so can I get all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any objection? Hearing none, that motion is passed. The second motion is a motion to move Commissioner Regio Panisa, who is on the Recreation Commission, to the Planning Commission. Can I get a second on that?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any objection? Hearing none, that is done. Congratulations, Regio Panisa, who's present here at the council meeting. Item number 3, which is a motion to appoint Cheryl Katuar to the now vacant Recreation Commission. Can I get a second?
Second?
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, I cannot vote on Ms. Couture.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Any objection?
No.
Hearing none, that position is also appointed. Any other appointments to commissions? Hearing none, let's go on to council committee reports. Item number 15, council committee reports. Any council committee reports? Hearing none? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, let me pull up my report. I went to the Bosque Committee and Bay Area Water Supply and Conservation Agency on January 19th. I wanted to let my colleagues know that the board unanimously re-elected Gustave Larson and Tom Chambers as board chair and vice chair for the year 2023. Also, we usually have our update on the SFPUC report. The SFPUC Assistant General Manager for Water provided a water supply conditions update as of January 17th, which included the following. So the total system storage was about 1,349,804 acre feet, or in percentage-wise, 91.7 of the maximum system storage. So that's really good for us. That means we're at 91.7% of the system storage for water. I think we've seen that we've had a steady flow of rain, and hopefully we'll get more. Also, the Bay Area 7-station precipitation index year-to-date was 27.30 as of January 16. The snowpack accumulation in the upcountry watershed is currently greater than 2017, which was the highest snowpack record as of that date and time of year. Total regional water system deliveries were 140. The first week in January, which was less than 2015 delivery of 150. Also, Mr. Ritchie also did not provide affirmation that at this time the drought is over. However, he did indicate that all conditions right now indicate that the regional water system will fill this year, and a final notice of water supply availability will be provided by wholesale customers by April 15th. So I thought it was really important to share that with everyone as far as an update on water supply. Actions that were taken, the board approved changes to the fiscal 22-23 work plan and operating budget. And the next meeting will be on March 16th in Burlington Community Center. Thank you.
All right, any other council committee reports? Hearing none, go on to city council reports. Any city council reports? Go ahead, Mr. DiGiovanni.
Oh, you want to go?
Go ahead, Dr.
Okay.
Dr.
Yeah, I attended Cal City's policy committee orientation. I was appointed by my colleague, Vice Mayor Justin Manalo, to be on the Housing Community Economic Development Policy Committee. We went through, I think one thing that I appreciated was meeting multiple colleagues of mine up and down the state that will be representing many committees through Cal City's organization. And I'm looking forward to working with all my colleagues from Northern California all the way down to Southern California.
Great. Any other, Mr. Giovanni?
Thank you. Just a city council report, correct? Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to let people know that I've gotten several calls about, I know that we've changed and we have in-person only, and that if our council could rethink, like other cities, and offer all possible ways for seniors to participate. They all can't come out tonight. And I see Ms. Paniza, she knows she deals with the seniors. Some cannot drive at night to come here, so they would have a way to call in. And our Channel 27, I know we're still looking for a partner, and for our television so they can view it as well, to make anything accessible. I mean, we have people that are physically challenged at all ages, and anything can happen to anyone, God forbid, but we need to make things accessible. We're in the age of 2023. There's a big digital divide, and we all know it. So when you write in a public comment, some do not even have access to that. And just writing a public comment, I don't think is really, the people really are being heard. So and it doesn't matter what side they're on, public voice is public voice. And then even Newsom, who developed a bill for abusive behavior, I think it's called, or interrupting behavior, so disruptive, behavior in a bill, so that for those who are against some of the things that we've heard, or can be harsh or whatever, there is a way that the city attorney or city mayor can stop for certain things. I'd like for them to look into that. It's a piece of legislation that Newsom put through, and it prevents a lot of disruptive behavior. But other than that, I think that free speech is free speech, and that we should all allow it. You can't just be half of it. And from someone that lost someone in the Holocaust, you can't just stop half of it. That's borderline where you start the fascism, where you just do it for some and not the other. You can't do that. You have to have it for everyone. Everyone should be allowed to have free speech. So with that, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Any other city council reports?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I didn't say the city council reports, but it was definitely a busy end of the holiday season last of 2022. I just want to commend the staff for their winter wonderland at Westlake. I was able to go there and see how it was. It was packed. I mean, it felt like an amusement park. So I want to say kudos to the recreation staff for an amazing event. I mean, it was filled all the way from Pacelli all the way to the Dolger Cafe with lines of just happy families. It was really nice to see after the pandemic. And that's just, I just want to say that was really a joyous event. It was wonderful to also see that there were decorations up. There were also, the Hanukkah was up as well, the big floating one, and so it was really inclusive and wonderful to see. Also, was able to join Pacific Islanders together at the Bayshore Elementary School. Also wonderful with our firefighters that really volunteered and helped. It was really beautiful to see. Actually, the sun was shining. A beautiful band was there. I mean, really, we didn't have the rain yet. So just wanted to say that was really wonderful to see. And then also wanted to share that I joined to the Filipino Nurses Association at their event all the way in Foster City. An organization that really gives back to the communities around education, free screenings for the community. And so just wanted to also share that. I wasn't able to do so. But a lot of community events at the end of the year, and just wanted to be able to say thank you to the staff and all the community organizations.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I
Yes.
forgot, I'm sorry. She reminded me. So yes, I want to tell about the Pacific Islanders and what they did with their Christmas event at the Bayshore School. So what they did was they still did a drive-through, like as they always do, with the firefighters supporting. And the firefighters actually helped give the toys out as well. So they had obviously them themselves and volunteers and a band, and very festive in the Bayshore. And commend Denise. You always do such a great job out in the Bayshore. I went over to their Christmas event, because they actually had one as well, and they were making paroles for the holidays, the cookies, decorating cookies. I want people to know that things are really getting pumped up over there. I know they are at Westlake, but great job in extending it. and making sure that all the children, it was really, I guess you already know from Ray and them, they did a fantastic job. They could not be at the employee that we had appreciation, thanks to our city manager for the tree lighting, and our mayor was there, at the time was Dr. Rod, and that he made sure that everyone got the little hats, and the HR people were there, and it was really a great turnout. And but want to make sure that our Bay Shore, they wanted little hats too, and because they were working at the time. But I want to let you know, it was great seeing them making all the great things. All the floors were filled with children and family, so it was great. So thank you very much, and the Pacific Islanders always knock it out of the park as well at their events. So thank you very much, Mayor.
All right, any other city council reports? Go ahead, Ms. Morales.
Thank you so much. There was a lot of historic events that happened in the beginning of the year. I was able to attend the San Mateo Board of Supervisors meeting, and the first meeting of the year, and really amazing to see the first Latina seated at the Board of Supervisors, Noelia Corzo. And so that was a historic moment at the Board of Supervisors, and also was able to attend the swearing in of Attorney General Rob Bonta, another historic moment where he's the first Filipino American elected to that role. In Sacramento, there's also in the California Museum an exhibit that will be going on until I think the beginning of April, but it's called California's in its Heart. But Daly City, if you go to the museum, is highlighted. But it's a wonderful exhibit of Filipino Americans in education and arts and public service, politics. I think it's just very comprehensive, and I give kudos to Dr. Robin Rodriguez for curating that and putting that together. Also was able to attend another historic event where, for the first time, a Black woman became controller, Malia Cohen. So it's just a lot of historic events that has occurred. And then last week, in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. at the Cow Palace, the Cow Palace board put on an event for young people to put in works of art, whether it's literary art, also, through physical drawing art, and send in their submissions. Because actually Dr. Martin Luther King spoke at the Cow Palace. And that is something that I just learned, and I mean, that's pretty historic. To honor his legacy, young people submitted their poetry and writing. And so I know that the Cow Palace Board wants to continue that tradition, and that was the first time this year. And so I wanted to share with everyone that attended that event as well. So thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Any other reports? Okay, number 17, any staff reports?
No, sir. I think I spoke enough tonight, but we are taking notes on all the suggestions, and we'll get back to you on all those things that have come up tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Piccolotti. All right, we are now at adjourn in memories. Let me start off by adjourning in memory for all of those who have perished due to gun violence, especially and including what happened today in San Mateo County. And then with that, let me turn on to Ms. DiGiovanni. You have several.
Thank you very much, and I have to agree with you. So I have a few. Let me begin by Algis, excuse me if I mispronounce it, Ratnikas. Algis Ratnikas was a docent and a secretary for our Daly City History Guild who passed away. So this is the many things that people said about him: a poet, a writer, a historian, an engineer, a thinker, a lifelong learner, a loving husband from Florence, son, brother, father, uncle, godfather, and a good friend, and son of Lithuania. And they said, thank you for your gifts, which live on in us. They had a great memorial service for him up at the History Guild with the Lithuanian community. And some of us seem to forget with the great music that they have and the culture that they have in the poetry. They found poetry that they read of his that even spoke about Ukraine and the current crisis. So we really need to recognize all those of the richness and take time with one another in that. Also, sadly to report, longtime resident and retired from our Daly City Fire Department Secretary, Patricia Lopez. Many of you know her. She actually grew up in Daly City. And they also wanted me to let people know that she was loved by all retirees and those that still work here, and especially our fire department. And they also said she lived a life well with love and laughter. Next, it's really sad that I have to report my good friend Eric Capala, his sister passed away. Evangeline, they called her Jing Jing, Capala Javero. She lived a beautiful life full of love, laughter, and kindness. He and Alan were over in the Philippines visiting her before she passed away. They have a large family, and we send our condolences. Next, also, these two were killed in the line of duty. It was Deputy Calhoun in Riverside Sheriff's. Deputy Calhoun, when I was watching his services, the pastor kept saying he was always on duty. And what he meant by that was he knew him, he was as a youth pastor, and that as a youth pastor, he was always there for everyone. He actually taught Sunday school for 5- and 6-year-olds, and he recently moved to Riverside so they could be closer to his family. He had left the San Diego Police Department and had only been there a short period of time when he was killed in the line of duty. Also, Deputy Isaiah Cordero. He was a correctional deputy, and he also was killed in December. It was another side of loss and line of duty for the Riverside Sheriff's Department. So we want to, I didn't know if our council member, as we know he's retired, PD, I always like to respect for him to have words of condolences for those. But before that, I would like to read something sadly that we need to know that I found out that one of our longtime veterans lived here, passed away. And I don't know if I can get an internet. If I can't do it this time, the family said to do it the next time. Lloyd Edward Tilghman, 1924 to 2022. Lloyd Edward Tilghman died at his home in Daly City with his wife and son by his side December the 12th. He was 98 years old. He was born in St. Louis, Missouri. Mr. Tillman was the youngest of 7 children. He had 3 sisters. I want to let you know about his service to our country. His many assignments included the USS Essex, the USS Ozark, the USS Barham Richard, the Ranger, the Midway, and many more. During his time in the Navy, Mr. Tillman received the following military citations and medals: American Defense, American Area Good Conduct, Asiatic Pacific, Navy Occupation, World War II, in the service, Philippine Libertarian and National Defense to help liberate the Philippines. He also received a commendation letter signed by the President Harry S. Truman, recognizing and acknowledging his contributions and service to his country during World War II. When he retired from the Navy in 1962, Mr. Tillman continued serving in the U.S. government, working for the U.S. Naval Yard in San Francisco and later with the U.S. Post Office. He retired in 1986 after 45 years. He's married to his wife, Juliana Avis, in the Philippines in November 27, 1972. Together, they raised their 2 children, and daughter Esperanza Marie and son Lloyd Edward II, all in Daly City. So we'd like to honor him for his service and sacrifice to our country, and he has passed on, and he will never be forgotten. And with that, I'd like to yield to Councilmember Sylvester if he would like to say something to those who have passed in line of duty out of respect for his service.
Thank you, Councilmember DiGiovanni. Any death is, can be traumatic for anyone, and especially, in any occupation, because no matter what occupation you have, whether you're an engineer in a building or someone cleaning homes, and you're providing a service, and I appreciate the opportunity, especially if it's public service. It really means a lot to me, but I thank you for that, and that's all I have at this time. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
Mr.
Mayor.
Sylvester. Any other council members? Go ahead, Ms. Manalo.
Thank you. I'd also like to add in memoriam Elisa Luna. She was my grand auntie, more like a grandmother to me, and just remember the fond memories of her visiting. She actually gave me my first perm. I don't know if at 3 years old, but like she was just never aged as she got older, always youthful, such a wise businesswoman as well. That is the direct grandmother of our commissioner, Christina Luna. So with their family, just sending them deepest condolences.
All right, anyone else? All right, let me move on to the employees and their immediate family members. We're going to adjourn in memory of Peggy Fair, which is Kevin Fair's grandmother, Ronald Michael Robel, which is the brother of Randy Robel, and Leon Carr, which is the grandfather of Chris Carr. To those, let's just take a brief moment of silence. Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.